Terran on this map. MarineKing has brought the black glasses back, and I think he looks very handsome with them.
Yeah, I like it. Actually matching with the headset as well on top. Looking good.
I'm so glad MarineKing is actually now back to being like a regular fixture of a team league. I think that's what everybody needed for a while. He's now played 22 games, actually. It's hard to believe. It seems like just yesterday he joined Pro League for the first time, but he's played 22 games now. That's a lot of games he's played, and he's 10-12. Not the worst record.
Yeah, and he does have a proclivity for taking down Titans.
Yeah,
nobody expects him to. Here's Maru. He did get a win in his last game, but he did have that streak of 4 losses, so definitely hurting for him. He is 2-2, TBT.
Now, what's really cool about this matchup is it's the MarineKing versus the man who's been dubbed the Marine Prince. Has the learner overcome the master? I think most people would say yes, but it's still a cool matchup because these guys are former teammates. And, this guy used to train and live with a man he now has to face. Interesting story here. Let's see if MarineKing, the king of Marines, can make his biotank style work. We're jumping into Overgrowth. A lot of narrow pathways on this map, so I think Mech could be pretty good. Let's jump into game number 2, Prime versus Jin Air. The king of Marines versus the Prince.
LTA는 SK텔레콤.
Down here in the bottom left in the red for Prime, it is MarineKing.
And up here the top right, formerly of Prime, now of Jin Air, is the Marine Prince, known as Maru. And never know why he named himself Maru. My original theory was that it was that cat Maru that if you look up on YouTube, you can find a bunch of really cute videos of.
Oh, great cat.
What does Maru actually mean in Korean?
I think it has no meaning, actually.
Oh, really?
I think I once tried to ascertain if it had meaning or not, but I don't think it doesn't mean anything.
There was actually a Korean barbecue in Australia, in Brisbane, my hometown, that was called Maru.
Yeah, I've also seen a lot of coffee shops called Maru in Korea as well, so...
Car about Marines.
Maru wins.
He said, what was that? Did you see that, Wolf? It was like Haebyong something. I think it means something about Marines, but I'm not sure.
By the way, I just verified. I didn't actually catch that because I was looking up Maru just to see if I was wrong or not. And in fact, I think I am because it seems to be a word for a floor, or also like a ridge, possibly.
Interesting.
Probably mostly, not necessarily what he decided to name himself after, but
I don't think he named himself after a floor, but
maybe he likes floors.
That's like not a word I use in my everyday vocabulary. So
yeah,
I don't really talk about floors too often.
I can appreciate a good floor.
Good hardwood.
Yeah, well, I like carpet.
Yeah.
If you guys want more history on names, though, going into this, MarineKing's original name was Boxer, actually. He used the name Boxer when Boxer was actually just first starting to play StarCraft 2, and everyone wanted to know what his Smurf ID was. Nobody knew what it was. It actually ended up being Man of One was the ID he was using, but MarineKing was using the ID Boxer, so a lot of people thought that was actually the real Boxer. And then when he actually qualified for the GSL, he still used it as his official ID, even though Boxer, had already been revealed as Man of One, and only chose to use the name MarineKing after people told him his Marine splits were excellent, and he was the king of Marines.
I feel like personally it was kind of bad manner to be using Boxer's name, like the way he did.
Well, you know what? To give you guys some even further history, as this TVT is like really slowly heating up.
Good denial.
That was a really nice deny, but the Reaper, he does see that it's Reapers coming out here. MarineKing does. So this TVT is like basically a Reaper expand with Reactor versus a factory opening. To give you guys a light on that, but further about MarineKing, he used the ID Flash on the ladder at the same time when Flash was rumored to be playing StarCraft 2. And he was on top. He was #1 on Grandmaster using the ID Flash. I think it may have even been just KT Flash. But enough about names. Here comes the Reaper. The Marines are slightly out of position to deny here, so he will actually see that that CC going down. So MarineKing known for fast expanding, and he's 100% aware of it now.
Yeah, and also sees the factory going down with the Reactor. Kind of knows what's following up. Nearly loses that Reaper.
That was a close call there on that Reaper, man.
Yeah, you kind of saw MarineKing flinch at the same time. Really hoping for a kill there. And we see a Starport coming down. Could see Banshee.
Yeah.
Could see Raven.
Got that tech lab on the factory.
I would
so
actually
we're
really
gonna see
like.
one of those.
Yeah, I'd like to see Banshee. Considering he scouted a late factory like this, could definitely get away with going Banshee.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to have a Viking and a Raven out by the time the Cloak Banshee gets there. I mean, it's basically impossible, right? So he's going to have to rely on turrets against Banshees if that's what Maru wants to go for here. He's actually going to wait with this Reaper and pop in there in a few moments to see, what sort of tech is coming out. As soon as I think he sees the Marines come down the ramp, he'll go up there, and then he's going to try to see, like, are you going to go into mech, or are you going to go into more bio, like you're usually doing. This Banshee will also be a good scout, too.
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to go for Cloak here. Sacrifices the Reaper. He wants to see exactly what's going on. I think he saw that Starport.
I think he saw a Starport, but like he assumed that. But I think you really want to know is whether or not that command center was going to be made into a planetary fortress in the main, or was it orbital.
Oh yeah,
and he definitely
That's definitely what he
See, he knows now it's an orbital.
Very important information.
Best call ever.
But in all seriousness, he does identify that it's not a rush to siege tanks or a weird like off 2 base, like 1 to 2 siege tank push coming across the map with Marines. And Vikings. It's going to be reactor Hellions coming out, so he knows to get set up for that, because Hellion run-bys can be a big problem in TVT. Especially when you go for a Banshee opening and the Banshee's like on the other side of the map. You don't have a whole lot to defend against the Hellions that come your way.
Yep, needs good SimCity, and that's 4 Hellions on the map, so these Marines could very well be in trouble. He sees it with the Banshee, so he should be able to pull back in time.
The Hellions go back to chase the Banshee instead, though.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be too helpful.
I don't know about that. We see 2 Vikings.
2 Vikings coming out at a time. They'll definitely be helpful, as well as a bunch of those Marines. They're already out here chasing this Banshee.
Cloak isn't ready yet, and by the time it is ready, he's going to have to just use it to hide much earlier than he would like to.
Going to force out a scan at the very least.
Well, he might not even, actually. Let's see. He might actually just wait for it. Okay, he does scan.
Scan goes down. Couple more hits.
Oh, gets out.
Nice micro here by Maru, and
that's frustrating.
That's why I don't think the scan was warranted yet. I think it was better to just wait.
Could have waited until he had 3 Vikings. Like, it was so far out.
That's a considerable army, too. I mean, that's a lot of Hellions and some Vikings. 1 tank and a bunker set up, though.
Yeah,
so
guys,
we're
seeing like MarineKing do a very similar style to what he started to do last time, where he just made a bunch of Vikings early on in the game. Remember this, and it just didn't really amount to anything at the end of the day. We didn't really get to see what it did, but this time he's cut Vikings a lot earlier, but he still has a lot of them out there.
Yeah, he's actually going for a push here. He's got the armory up. He's going to have Hellbats and landed Vikings.
Yeah, I think that's the plan here.
But this Banshee's going to do so much damage at the same time.
He might just land the Vikings on top of the siege tank. It goes for the Banshee first. That bunker here and the siege tank at the back are doing so much for him, and that that Cloak Banshee, there's no scan.
Completely shut down.
Yeah, like, this looks silly.
And look at the main. He's already gotten 11 kills. This is going to be totally shut down.
This is games.
MarineKing's economy here is in shambles. He's got no army.
This is just not a good build by MarineKing, considering what he saw. He should have made an engineering bay. He should have had some sort of anti-air for these Banshees.
It almost just looked haphazard and sloppy what he decided to do.
Well, I mean,
are you serious?
Maru made the perfect counter.
Where is he taking those SCVs?
He's going to go take the island. Oh, wait, there's no island on this map.
Yeah, this is...
Well, he's not mining with his 9 SCVs. This Banshee actually gets away. Wow. Scans again and fresh.
But the thing is, like, if you scan twice and only have 9 SCVs, that's kind of painful.
Oh, yeah. There's no coming back from this.
Maru's got tanks, he's got Banshees, he's making a 3rd command center. He's like, well...
Let's talk more about the push. He saw it coming. He had a bunker set up. He had a siege tank set up. The Vikings neither... Yeah, the 2nd siege tank important too. Neither did he scan to kill the Banshee that was killing his Hellbats, nor did he land the Vikings on top of siege tanks. This whole Viking idea, man, he might as well change his ID to Viking King with how he's been playing his TVTs these days. Yeah. I don't know, man. He's making a lot of Vikings, but they're not making anything for him.
MarineKing picks it up again. All of his SCVs once again. He's going to drop here on these tanks.
Drops Hellbats on top of tanks. They do pretty well. Vikings as well actually may help push this back, at least initially.
Well,
the Banshee's the big problem.
Too much work.
Yeah. GG.
GG.
GG. Wow. Two pretty quick and straightforward games here for Jin Air. Maru just obviously the superior Terran versus Terran player right now.
Yeah.
MarineKing is just really not playing standard TVT, and it's not working out. I'm not sure what's working for him on the ladder. What's working for him when he practices with some of his Terran teammates. Maybe practice with some other, teams he's not, preparing for. For example, he's probably not practicing with any Jin Air Terrans, but perhaps, practicing with some KT Terrans and stuff. But it may be working for him in practice, but it's certainly not working for him here on stage.
I think he's just laddering, and yeah, these and these builds are just strange, and they're completely hard counted. So I don't know exactly how.
I just don't understand the Viking play.
Well, like Vikings, I make sense. Like it was good to have Vikings to deal with the Banshee. But, you can't, if you see a tank in bunker and you have Hellions and Vikings, you can't really utilize that in that sort of situation.
You can't break that.
No, so
it seemed like desperation, right?
Yeah, it's like he had a push in mind. He had already scanned twice for the Banshee, and he's like, well, I guess I just got to go for it and see what happens.
He didn't react to the Banshees.
Yeah, I think defending the Banshees puts him in a pretty decent spot, right?
Yeah.
He even found the first Banshee before it could do damage. He had to scan twice, but still,
if he just puts a turret up at each base, if he gets an engineering bay, puts a turret up, and then kind of contains, kind of controls, and maybe gets a third, plays more of a mech game.
Yeah. Well, even if he uses scans to kill the Banshees and stays at home, then he's got air control with all those Vikings. He can take a third base with that maybe, and start moving out and holding off pushes. The siege tank push that was going to come to his third base would have been scary, but I feel like there's a better chance of trying to defend something like that than trying to attack head-on into bunkers and siege tanks with Vikings that he didn't even land or even scan to kill the defensive Banshee. So
yeah, it just wasn't the right decision to go for the push.